The following video was made as a result of my Patreon hitting one of its stretch goals, and therefore was brought to you by all the wonderful people you see on screen right now. Thank you all for your support. Greetings everyone, my name is Sai. It's been a little over a year now since Undertale came out, and it steadfastly held its position as my all-time favorite game, and I haven't even come close to running out of trivia for it. So with that said, let's play a game. If you guys learn one new thing while watching this video, I want you to give it a like. But if you already knew all 10 facts before watching, I want you to give it a dislike, guilt-free. Because if you knew everything, it means I didn't do my job properly. Also, this video will be spoiling the entire game, and so you have been warned. And so, without any further ado, here is the fourth 10 things you didn't know about Undertale. So in Waterfall, did you know that once you've picked up the umbrella, you can actually walk backwards and have new dialogue with all the NPCs in that area? Star Guy will say, "What are you holding? Is that a star?" Sans will say, "Dang, I wish I brought a parasol. I'm getting a nasty burn from all this sun." And the Ice Cream Guy will say, "Hey, you have an umbrella just like my cart. Such solidarity! I have no choice but to give you a deal." And will then sell you nice creams for 15 gold instead of 25. Oh, and the Fairy Guy will just refuse to take you, saying, no umbrellas allowed. Which is so Toby Fox didn't have to write umbrella-themed dialogue for the rest of the game's NPCs. So this is both really cool, and something I didn't even notice until it was pointed out to me in the comments of a previous Undertale 10PYDK. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the exact comment to give credit, so please forgive me, whoever you are. Anyways, during the date with Papyrus, you'll notice that his special clothes have "Cool Dude" written on them. Now you may think he just wrote that himself with a marker, and he probably did, but notice the two O's in "cool" are the only bit of text that looks neatly drawn. In fact, if you inspect it, Papyrus will say, "This shirt didn't originally say cool, but I improved it." So it's possible this is actually an MTT basketball jersey, hence the basketballs, with the player number 00, implying he didn't actually get picked to play, but was given a jersey regardless, that Papyrus then wrote around to change the meaning. This theory is also further backed up by dialogue that Mettaton has later in the game. Quote, "They're MTT brand fashion basketballs. For wearing, not playing." Here's a question. Am I allowed to talk about Undertale Easter eggs in other games? Is that a thing that I can do? I mean, technically it could potentially be something you didn't know involving Undertale. Well, I say let's give it a try. So, have you ever played Pony Island? It's a game that came out a while ago made by a guy named Daniel Mullins, and the basic idea is that you've been sent to hell and are being forced to beta test Satan's new runner game, Pony Island. But Satan sucks at his job, so you have to hack into the code of the game to get around bugs and bad game design. Pony Island reminded me a lot of Undertale when I first played it, because it also does the fourth wall breaking meta commentary on games thing. And apparently, this isn't just me making connections where none exist, because at one point in the game, you can see a bit of text being obscured by the edge of the screen. But if you do a bit of color correcting, you can see the message says, "Credit where credit is due," with each line being written in Comic Sans, Papyrus, and Wingdings respectively. So, during Mettaton's musical, when he's singing about how sad it is that you're going to die, did you ever notice that he actually starts polishing his nails? Yes, he starts polishing his robotic fingernails. His gloved robotic fingernails. God, I love Mettaton so much. So when the battle with God of Hyperdeath Asriel begins and the music starts to swell, did you ever think about all that rainbowy stuff behind him? Well, I didn't. I just assumed he had transported you into some limbo dimension like he does in the neutral ending. But then I realized this isn't just some random dimension or something. That's the barrier, just rainbow colored. If you'll recall this sentence from one of my favorite quotes in the game, "You can see twilight shining through the barrier." So the barrier obviously reflects light, right? So that means the light you're seeing in the background is Azrael's rainbow-colored attacks reflecting back off the barrier. And how cool is that? So, you're probably aware that the annoying dog is Toby Fox's representation of himself within the game. That's made pretty apparent throughout the story, and especially so by going into the secret door in Snowdin Forest. Well, did you know this is actually a reference to Earthbound? In the first main city of that game, you can find a dog who will say, "Woof woof! I'm Rafini the dog. I'm being possessed by the spirit of the game designer." So in the forest right before Snowdin, you can find a cave. And I know the vast majority of you already know about the secret boss fight against Glide as well as Toby Fox's room. But what you probably don't know about is that if you walk a few tiles to the left, you can see a small house off in the distance. And just watch that for a second. So this one is weird. While you're fighting magic, if you stay still while he's using his 3 orb attack, eventually they'll turn into healing orbs. And they only last for like half a second, and they only heal you by 1 HP, so I have no idea why they even exist or why Toby Fox went to the trouble of putting this in. And for the record, that doesn't work 100% of the time, so I'm not even completely sure that staying still is the trick to making it happen, or even that this is an intentional thing. But that's the method that works the most often for me, so I've got no idea what's up with this, but it's interesting to say the least. Okay, number 2 is my fabled triple whammy attack. Just try and not know any of these. So, during Papyrus's date, when he tells you to press the C key to bring up the dating HUD, if you take too long, he'll just go, okay, forget it. And then you don't have the dating HUD for the rest of the date/hangout. Next up, when you're searching for Papyrus's secret, if you try and run your heart off the screen, he'll say, "I understand why you're running away. You're overwhelmed by the sight of my cool vibes, but you can't back down now." And finally, after the date, Papyrus gives you his cell phone number, but if you try calling him before you even leave the room, you'll get a different dialogue than you would have if you left and came back later, and it just so happens to be one of my favorite dialogues in the game. Now, over the course of my Undertale 10TYDKs, we have covered some amazing things, but none of them come even close to what I'm about to reveal to you today. Brace yourselves, because this knowledge may rock your world to its very core. Did you know that you can interact with the sparkles around Waterfall and that they make a noise? Ah, that anticlimax. Hey everyone, if you learned something new, be sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, leave a dislike, because that means I didn't do my job properly. Once again, I'd like to express my gratitude towards my patrons, without whom I wouldn't be able to pay my bills. Oh, and the next reward tier on that list is the final 50 plus things you didn't know about Undertale, wherein I blow my entire load of trivia. So go check that out at patreon.com/Psy, and see if anything I have to offer catches your eye. And finally, I want to give a very special thank you to Isaiah Christo, Aaron Graff, Salas Bucky, Krista, Killy, Forgotten Paladin, and Ludwig for helping support my videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.